Today we're going to talk about a list that we've more become aware of than created, but there are some parameters now, some limitations to operating as a human species on this planet, most of which we didn't know about in the past. And if we're going to make a success of this, then we have to respect these operating parameters. They're not subject to opinion or religion or faith or belief or personal skill or attributes. They're just operating parameters. You know, my background is in aviation and engineering, and we are very aware of the properties of metal or fuels, and the opinion of the people involved is totally irrelevant. It's completely scientific. And now we have a set of parameters. There's 5 primary ones that we've become very aware of in recent years that we have to respect if we're going to be successful in the future. And from certainly our perspective at the Money Free Party, none of the other political organizations or business entities are even cognizant of these parameters. So I'll be as brief as I can, but there's a few things to take into account. The first one is climate change. Whatever we do, we have to respect the fact that we now know we have a finite, delicate climate, and we can't just continue as all our systems were designed in the understanding that the climate was infinite. And we very recently discovered that it is not. It is very finite and it's very delicate, and we have to respect it. Regardless of whether you believe climate change is man-made or whatever, we have to respect that environment that's very precious to us. The next parameter is resources. Again, we've discovered that resources are finite. We thought they were infinite when we were building these global systems, the operation of society. And now we know that resources are limited, they are fragile, they're connected. And so we have to respect that. It's not optional, we have to respect that. There's plenty of resources, there's huge abundance out there, but we have to respect the use and the renewability of those resources. The next subject is inequality. Again, in very recent times, we've discovered that inequality is totally unacceptable for humans to operate successfully within. If we are too unequal as a society, then we have huge disparity of wealth, of health, of well-being, a distribution of resources, and people without, who are less equal than others, get very, very unhappy. And in fact, disastrously so. So we see suicide, violence, drug abuse, alcoholism, depression, and ultimately societal breakdown because of that inequality. And in New Zealand especially, significant inequality is not actually acceptable to any New Zealanders. It's anathema to the Maori culture, and the original New Zealanders that came from Europe, the Pākehā, they came with aspirations to leave inequality and hierarchy and class behind, and we don't want a deeply unequal society in New Zealand, and it's basically unacceptable and it's totally unsustainable. The next topic is stress. Again, in very recent times, we thought that stress was normal, healthy, and some people coped with it, and some people were lesser and they didn't cope with it. But we've recently discovered through science and medicine and technology and research that stress is actually as harmful as smoking. Some stress is very healthy, exercise, getting on with things, activity, proactivity, but excessive stress is disastrous. And of course, in an unequal society, everybody is stressed, whether they're at the top of the food chain or the bottom. It creates stress between humans and is disastrous for our immediate health, our family health, and our societal health. The final parameter I want to talk about is technological unemployment. And as I said at the beginning, none of the other political entities, in fact nobody proposing a future within a monetary system, is taking these parameters into account. Every proposal that they have fails through one of these parameters. And when you're living on a spaceship, which is effectively what planet Earth is, you have to respect these scientific parameters. It is unsurvivable if you don't. They all have to be respected without compromise, without exception. So the final parameter is technological unemployment. We've already seen this massively in recent years, and we see it continuously, and it's only going to get, I was about to say worse, but from a resource-based economy future perspective, much, much better, because the technology relieves humans of the drudgery and the nightmare that is mostly pointless work. We have machines, we have science, we have computers, satellites, hydraulics, electricity, all these scientific developments that make humans' life better. And it doesn't have to be something to be afraid of, like an artificially intelligent robot that's going to take over your life. We're talking about a washing machine, or floorboards, or glass, or training shoes, or a bicycle. They're all technology and they all make humans' life better, and they're coming thick and fast now. And of course, the technological rate of progress is now in an exponential phase, and very soon there just is not going to be many jobs at all. So to base a society on the function of work, where you have to have a job to get access to the necessities of life, is just totally impossible in a world where there isn't going to be jobs. Robots, machines, diggers, etc. are taking over what used to be done by humans, and now the humans can actually be free to be humans and take care of each other, use their skills as creators, as carers, as innovators, as imagination proponents, and to actually look after each other and to look after our environment. And there's a lot of work to do, and we all want to do it, but at the moment, of course, in the money system, we can't afford to do it because we have to go to work to get the pretend tokens to give us access to the necessities of life that are abundantly available and easy to produce. And certainly in the future, we can produce those entirely with voluntary input, because people want to contribute, they want to have value, they want to take care of each other, and it's only the money that's in the way. So that's the list of parameters. We're looking at climate threat, resource limitations, inequality, stress, and technological unemployment. And those are going to change our society to something that is basically utopian, and I can't wait for it.